Okay, so hmm, let's get into today's episode. Okay, I'm saving it for the end because I'm going to talk about some positive things, trying to at least get me into a little bit better of a mood. But anyway, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Micah McCamey, and in today's episode, we are going to be talking about free agency, what's been happening so far, and just in general, what the Titans' future vision is. Answer will come later, and honestly, you're probably not going to be shocked by what I say. But anyway, let's get into today's episode. But before we get into the specific free agents that were signed, I want to first mention that they've definitely stood strong by their promise. Apart from one contract that got handed out that was pretty big, that's the only thing that has happened. Like, it has been very conservative. Like, we've made 3 moves so far. Like, it has been quite interesting, to say the least, because we were so aggressive last offseason, and we had just every player ever. Like, we had all of these dudes coming to the Tennessee Titans, and now we've only signed 2 dudes, and we've let go of a few. We'll get to him, but yeah, no, let's get into the actual free agents themselves, starting out with Dan Moore. Now, I'm grading these 3 moves. So first off, Dan Moore, I'm giving it a C+. Okay, not like some insane, oh yeah, this is going to make the Titans O-line great again type of move, but it's a decent little move. That means J.C. Latham is going to move back to right tackle. I'm not too sure why we just immediately said that we failed the experiment with J.C. Latham. Don't get me wrong, I still think that he's going to end up being really good at right tackle. But I do kind of think that's a little weird that you're giving up on that idea after 1 year. I feel like they should at least give him this year, and then you decide if he should be moved back to right tackle. But hey, Bill Callahan, again, knows better than me. And he was at least able to admit that whenever he made a mistake, he was able to go back and be like, hey, I was wrong. We're going to move J.C. Latham to right tackle. That's one thing, okay? If Bill Callahan, again, I know that he said, oh, yeah, we're moving J.C. Latham to left tackle. But, if Bill Callahan does see something in Dan Moore, who am I to blame? I know that the sack numbers look bad. 11 sacks allowed on the year. The pressures that he allowed were also very alarming. But he had Russell Wilson and Justin Fields playing at quarterback. 2 quarterbacks that are infamous for holding the ball as long as they do. And plus, even with that, Justin Fields, whenever he was with Justin Fields, he only allowed 2 sacks and 9 pressures total. For context, J.C. Latham allowed 8 pressures in his first game, I think, something like that. And similar thing goes with NPF, average 5 pressures a game. So not not too terrible. I have reason to believe that this is going to be decent. I have the reason to Bill Callahan. I have the reason that he's been improving every year since he got into the league. I could also say that he's had iffy quarterback play. Not the fact that they've been bad, but the fact that they hold on to the ball for too long. I could say all these things, but the thing that makes me the most confident that this guy will be a very solid player is that Tic Tac Titans just had an absolute crash out about this dude and has been crashing out for the past 4 days. Dude, it feels weird at this point. It feels like that whenever we get somebody that's important, he always ends up being upset, and then we end up he ends up being actually pretty solid, and he ends up having a T'Vondre Sweat type apology where he just sits in a chair with a T'Vondre Sweat jersey on. So I do genuinely believe that Dan Moore will end up actually being fine. Do I think he'll be, oh yeah, I only allowed 1 sack on the year? No, he's never going to be that. But if he's a 4 or 5 sack guy, that's way better than what the Tennessee Titans have ever had on the offensive line. And J.C. Latham going back to his natural position, we get the right guard situation figured out with either the draft or something else like that. And then center and left guard's already good. So with all those things combining together, hey, the O-line could actually end up taking a big step forward next year. And I genuinely believe that. But obviously it starts with Dan Moore, and can he play can he finally start to play better? Like, again, most of his sacks came whenever he had to play against Trey Hendrickson and Myles Garrett. He doesn't have to play them twice a year anymore. He has to play Myles Garrett next year. Don't get me wrong. That's going to be tough. And I think that he also has to play Trey Hendrickson next year, depending on where he goes. But I still think that if Bill Callahan gets in the lab with him, maybe he'll hold his own just a little bit better next time. Oh, yeah. Also, he made Laiatu Latu a complete non-factor in the game that they played against the Colts. So we got to also take that into consideration. Anywho, so yeah, overall, C+, fine signing. Yeah, that's really all I got to say. Fine signing. That could end up being a great signing. Okay, we'll see what happens this time next year, and we'll see what we think of that next. But anywho, oh, also, one more thing about that. He was a little overpaid. Like, 4 years, $82 million for a dude that let up 11 sacks. I don't care if he has Stone back there. 4 years, $82 million for that many sacks is absolutely ridiculous. But still, I like the idea of the player, so that's why I'm not giving it like a D or anything. So if he was like, if those 11 sacks were like bad sacks that were allowed by him, then I would be more so like, okay, this isn't a good signing. But since like half of his sacks were because Russell Wilson just stood in the pocket for too long, that's why I give it a C+. But anywho, moving on, we got the second free agent signing. Cody Barton. This is probably the best move that the Titans have made so far. That's saying a lot. I gave it an A-. Here's the thing. He is a phenomenal run stopper, and he tackles in the open field pretty well. Okay? But here's the thing. There's a difference between him and Kenneth Murray. Kenneth Murray is really bad in coverage. Absolute liability. He does not do anything right in coverage, and he is just kind of mediocre, to say the least. And mediocre might be nice, honestly. Don't get me wrong. I like Kenneth Murray more than I do more than most of the fan base does, quite frankly. But that doesn't mean that I still don't have my fair share of problems with him, like his coverage stuff. And whenever you have a linebacker core like you did last year, you get rid of Ernest Jones Jr., and you're going to have to play Jack Gibbons and Jerome Baker. Like, neither of those guys are awesome coverage linebackers. Like, they're fine, but they're not awesome or anything like that. So, whenever you get somebody that's at least decent in zone coverage, that really helps. And I know that a lot of people are just like, man, he can't cover. Like, nah, he's low key, he's underrated at coverage. Like, I've heard from more people that watch the film. Yes, I know, Titans content creator who doesn't watch the film. Who am I to be that? But I still do genuinely believe that his coverage will be better than anything that we've had since, like, what? Man, I couldn't even tell you. It's been a while. David Long, who wasn't even that good in coverage, but he was better than whatever the heck the other two have been, like Jack Gibbons and Jerome Baker and Kenneth Murray. I know that he'll be better than those guys, to say the least. Again, overall, A-. I really like the guy, and I think that he's going to do wonders. Problem that I would truly have with this signing is that I think it's a big turnoff for Quandre Diggs. From what I've heard, like, I don't know what it is about him. Like, somebody be free to explain that to me in the comments, but, like, I don't know what it is, but he doesn't seem to like him that much. So, again, let me know, because I may be just being a complete idiot about this, but it's just what I've heard. Okay? Putting that out there. Also, this was again, like, I feel like I've stressed this, but yeah, it was a pretty desperate need for the Titans at the very least. So, yeah, overall, good signing. Okay, third and final signing, and then we'll get to the re-signings and the rant. But the third and final signing that the Tennessee Titans made that was really important, and I think it's the only one of only three signings, that's Johnny Hekker. Hunter for I think he was formerly with like the Rams or something like that. He was with the Panthers. That's where he was. He's good. He's a very, very solid punter. What I gave it a B plus right in between the linebacker, I can't remember his name, Cody Barton, Dan Moore. I don't know why I took so long to get that out of my my mouth, but still. Again, I put him right in between those two. This would be an A-plus home run if we needed a punter, but we let go of Ryan Stonehouse because of this. I don't like that, okay? One word to describe this signing, to say the least. I didn't put it in those comment sections of those posts that are just like, describe this free agent signing in one word. But it's hang time. Like, that's the only reason that Ryan Stonehouse isn't as valued by the Titans as he could be. It's because of the fact that even though he boots it really far, he doesn't get that much hang time. And usually it ends up being the coverage unit is like 10 yards back, and that's why you see all the big returns. Now, don't get me wrong, Cole Anderson didn't help with that. Like, he was still pretty bad, but like, I still do think that his hang time did not help with that. And I do think that it's probably one of the bigger reasons that that the special teams hasn't been that great. Sorry to all the Ryan Stonehouse fans. I am one too. Okay, I love Ryan Stonehouse. I know that that's hard to tell, but still, I love Ryan Stonehouse. It's just that's the case. That's the truth. Let me think. What else is there? Oh yeah. Again, upgrading the special teams. Bones going to get his guy at punter. You know, I can't be mad about that. That's why I gave it a B plus. So I don't really have that much to say because, well, he's a punter. But overall, solid signing. B plus. Wish that didn't have to come at the cost of Stonehouse, but hey, we're gonna miss him. Maybe not as much as another dude that I'm gonna get to, but still, we're gonna miss him. Next thing, okay. It's the players that we ended up re-signing. Okay, first off, Morgan Cox, very good. One of the better long snappers in the NFL right now. He's probably potentially the best player left on our team whenever it comes to how he is at his position, which is honestly kind of sad. Like, don't get me wrong, Big Jeff's also phenomenal, okay? Like, I still think Big Jeff is elite. That's how I feel. But I think that at the value of their position, like, obviously Big Jeff's is more valuable, and that's why he is considered the best overall player. But the best value at their position, Morgan Cox is better. But still, not getting into that debate about like who is better. But again, Morgan Cox is a really, really solid long snapper, and I am very happy to see him back. He's a Titan for life. He's a TFL. Wait, that means tackle for loss. You get what I mean. Titan for life. Yeah, good job by the front office there. Next thing, Terrell Baker. This is also a pretty solid re-signing. Like, I liked him. He was pretty good. Let me think. What else is there? Oh yeah, he had some decent moments as a starter this year. Like, I remember he actually held his own decently against Justin Jefferson. I remember that was one of my biggest talking points that week. Yeah, I really like him, and I think that he's really good, really strong, really solid. I don't really have that much else to say. I'm just really happy that we got him back. Next thing is Andrew Rupcich. Okay, y'all know about Andrew Rupcich. He is a depth piece at best, but I still love him, and I still think that he is solid depth. But I do actually think that he's slowly starting to become a Titan for life. One of those dudes that's just going to kind of stay a backup in the same place. Going to become a fan favorite in a few years, I'm sure of it, like that one guy did. But still, really, really good re-signing for depth at least, because goodness knows we don't have depth at any other positions on the field. So why not at least get some depth at right guard or left guard? But yeah, that's really all I gotta say about that. Okay, last one, or second to last one, because I forgot to put the last one down here. Mike Brown, again, depth piece, really solid depth piece though, and I'm really happy to see him back. With what we've been doing in free agency though, I'm a little worried that he's gonna end up being our starting safety, which, like, no, we don't want that. Please don't give us that. We don't want it. I'm telling you, we don't want Mike Brown being our starting safety. I love Mike Brown. He's a very solid backup, but he is not, and I mean not, a starter in the NFL. All right? The only reason I knew him was because, he has the same name as that one former Kings head coach Mike Brown and former Cavs coach Mike Brown. But anywho, still, solid re-signing for depth. Okay, last one is Sebastian Joseph Day, SJD, baby. Sorry. Yeah, no, that was right. Okay. He he's another very good depth piece. Again, really happy to see us really valuing depth right now, and I'm sure as free agency goes on, you're going to see more and more guys going to the Titans. Maybe not as starters and like just like, oh, he's going to go get like 10 sacks. Like as decent enough and solid depth pieces for O-line, receiver, safety, even D-line, maybe even linebacker. Like I feel like that we're gonna see that a lot more whenever it comes to the next few weeks in free agency. But anyway, Sebastian Joseph Day, solid depth piece, good D lineman. I really like us getting him back. Okay. Y'all been waiting for this. Nick Westbrook Akine. I have never felt more betrayed by a front office than I do right now. You say you want culture setters. You say you want depth pieces. You say you want some guys that aren't getting any credit for making the culture solid, and yet you let go of one of the only dudes that was actually a decent leader in our locker room. It took $3.5 million to get him back. 3.5. You could have just, my gosh, you could have got him back. You could have let him come back and be a Tennessee Titan, be that same leader that he has been, and he's Mr. Reliable. He scored 9 touchdowns last year. Why are we getting rid of him? I don't understand it. Unless NWI comes out and says, oh yeah, I didn't want to be in Tennessee anymore. I wanted to go be a Dolphin. Then fine, whatever. I don't care. And I'm just happy to see him go to a good organization. But if it is genuinely true that you decided not to re-sign him and that he wanted to be back here and you weren't willing to pay him $3.5 million a year, then I've got nothing, man. Like, this is the one thing that we have done in free agency that I hate. And I mean, I hate in my heart. Like, this is something that genuinely just grinds my gears. I absolutely hate the fact that we didn't re-sign Nick Westbrook Akine. Why on earth did you let him go? I'm still just so confused. Again, this is obviously a little bit of a raw reaction for me because I didn't even, I figured out about this, 20 minutes ago, give or take? I am so baffled by the fact that we genuinely thought it was a good idea to let Nick Westbrook Akine go. Terrible move, F-. My gosh, do better, Borgonzi. Okay, I just need to get that rant out of the way, obviously, to end the episode. Man, I'm going to miss NWI. I'll probably post some short honoring him, his first and last touchdown as a Tennessee Titan, because, man, that dude, I didn't like him at first. Whenever he was a rookie and those first few years, I didn't like him because of the fact that I felt like Vrabel was using him too much. But when Callahan was using him just the right amount, that's something that he doesn't get enough credit for, is that he actually used NWI right, unlike Vrabel, who literally was drawing up plays for him. But side tangent aside, man, he was good, and I'm really gonna miss that. But going back to what I said, when Callahan was using him just the right amount, it was perfect. We loved NWI. He was consistent. He was reliable. He has one of the longest touchdowns in Tennessee Titans history. I'm gonna miss my GOAT. But anywho, that's gonna be it for today's episode. I have Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok all under the Titans Rundown. And okay, and if you're listening over podcasting, I have a YouTube channel for the Titans Rundown. But okay, I gotta address the Vols Rundown. Okay, I haven't been posting, and I know that y'all are probably upset about that, at least for the 20 people that know that I have the Vols Rundown. But I'm just gonna say this right now. I don't think I'm gonna be posting YouTube or podcasting content on the Vols Rundown. I'll be posting tweets every now and again, and heck, even Instagram posts. But the truth is, I feel like I've got to get a little bit bigger on this channel before I try and move on and go to a format where I can have two channels. So I just wanted to let that be known. Vols Rundown isn't coming back for a while until this channel at least gets something more than what it has right now. But anyway, that's going to do it all for me. This has been a rundown of your Tennessee Titans. I love y'all, and tighten up.